Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Is that too loud or can you hear me okay?
Perfect, Terry. Thank
Welcome to this Thursday's shit. What? I don't believe what I'm seeing now. Things have changed here.
you.
I can't believe what they're asking me.
What are they? What are they
uh.
asking you, Terry?
Okay. Yeah, I tell you, the new version of Zoom, they keep changing things. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to this Thursday's sharing of Harmonize to Energize. My name is Terry Matthews. It's been my pleasure and privilege. Am I going too fast? Because I think I got to make up time. It's
You're okay, Terry.
been my pleasure and privilege to share aspects of JIN SHIN JYUTSU, self-help, and overriding connections with other modalities for the past 5 years. For those of you that are completely brand new, JIN SHIN JYUTSU is the art of harmonizing life energy as it moves through our body through different channels, several channels, 17 organ function channels, and various unmanifest channels. And we can adjust them through placing our hands, palms of our hands, back of our hands, thumbs, on what Mary Burmeister called safety energy locks. There's 26 of them, left and right of our spines, and they allow the energy to move through at a different frequency and vibration. We use our hands if for some reason the energy doesn't appear to feel as though it's moving congruently. How do we know that? We feel a pulse, right? A pulse between the two hands, fingers, thumbs, etc. Mary Burmeister brought this art to the West back in the 1950s after learning it from her teacher, Master Jerome Marai. We are blessed that she created a whole course of information with textbooks, and she began teaching, albeit unexpectedly, back in the late 50s and then through to the late 80s, all around the world. And she taught many people and then chose several people to become instructors alongside her. And now today, I think we have at least 12 instructors with what is now known as JIN SHIN JYUTSU Spirit Mind Body, which was
18 instructors, Terry.
Oh, is there 18 of you now? Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
18 instructors. Yeah, thank you for the correction. And so we're very fortunate, I believe, and I'm very privileged today that we have one of those instructors with us, Susie Plettner from San Diego, California. Welcome, Susie.
Yeah,
Many
thank you
of
so
you,
much. Yeah,
yeah,
sorry for a little bit of the technical chaos to begin with, but I think we have everything, cleared now. So anyway, thank you so much, Terry. Thank you so much for everything that you do for the community to host and hold that space for Harmonize to Energize every week. It's really
not every week, actually.
okay. Well, every other week or however often.
Once a month now.
Oh, once a month. Okay, once a month. Great. Once a month. Well, regardless, we're grateful for the community that you've built here, and of course for all of you, for coming here and for participating. We're going to do a lot of self-help today. And Terry, how much time do I have again?
Oh, you've got at least an hour. Do you want me on with
Oh,
you,
okay.
or shall I remove the spotlight so they can just see you? How about that?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
good.
then I mean, we're going to definitely be doing some self-help. I mean, I'm standing up right now because for help with my posture, but I may have to move down and sit while we do some of the self-care. But all right, are you guys ready?
Yes, can you just remind everybody to mute that's not talking, because there's still someone unmuted and we get to hear her cough, and I know she doesn't know that, so I thought we'd...
Yes, thank you so much for that. If everyone could please mute themselves, that would be great. Is that Debbie? Do I recognize that voice?
No, I was on the
Oh, that's right. Okay. You were the one helping me out. Okay, great. So harmonize to energize. Again, staying centered during times of chaos. Let me see. All right, so harmonize to energize. Really the question that we want to answer today is, the world faces many challenges, so often worry, fear, and insecurity about the future occur. This distracts from the potential of the present moment. Can you explain the tools of Jin Shin Jyutsu to focus the awareness on the here and now and to strengthen our manifestation of harmony? Really, to answer this question, let's just return back to like really like who are we? Because sometimes when there's a lot of chaos and our mind and anxiety can spin and spin and spin, we're really being pulled away from the center of the truth of who we are. And we are, of course, at the core in that universal principle of truth and light, we are spiritual beings having a physical experience between heaven and earth. Our hands are reaching towards the sky, our feet are firmly planted on the earth, again, allowing us to receive that radiance of that divine masculine and feminine principle that we're surrounded by through these, beautiful stellar constellations and planetary forces coming down on us, and then the magnetic pull between the North Pole and the South Pole on Earth. Like we are surrounded by this radiant light, that we can call chi or ki in Japan, or in India, of course, it's called prana. And within each breath lies the seed of consciousness and awakening. Each breath, it's amazing. We always have the opportunity to return back to the present moment. And, right now I can think like, oh boy, there's a lot of, people losing their job at the federal government. And, my spouse works at the federal government, and like, oh no. And there's a lot of attack on queer people, and oops, that might affect my family. And, but in the here and now, if I really stay present, I'm like, I'm okay. Like we're okay. And so it's really important not to like feed into the fear. Just really harmonize on the chaos. And then it's like a pond. We just put, a pebble drops in the pond, and then there's a concentric, beautiful circle that happens. And we, as within our community of Jin Shin Jyutsu practitioners, we can be that center of stillness for our community, for our family, for our friends, and allow that center of stillness to just reverberate out into the world. We live in the light and are always surrounded by the light. We are love. So again, this is where we think of safety energy lock number 7. It's the exhale. Let's all exhale. Drop our shoulders, slightly bow the head. And in the pause of the breath, put your awareness at the big toe, safety energy lock number 7. Victory, perfect life, power. It's that 7th depth, that universal light. And then inhale up. Within the pause of that 7th depth is the seed of consciousness, and again, awakening. And it's stillness. It's that quiet within us. And in that, again, we remember that we are love, and love spelled, if you spell love backwards, it almost spells evolve. So we evolve through love. And during times where we feel like maybe there's not a whole lot of forward-moving evolution happening with human consciousness and behavior, we can be that seed of evolving us through love and through light. That 7th depth, safety energy lock, number 7. All right, so silence is sacred, and we can be peace. Spending time together in silence, again, it's very, very sacred. We tap into that knowing that we're spiritual beings. Some of the most profound teachings of our truest nature are, beyond words, and they happen in silence. When we live from our soul, fear loses its hold on us. So let's just go ahead and give ourselves a hug, hold our 26s, 26, if you add 2 plus 6, it breaks down to an 8. That source of energy. Remembering the more we exhale, the more we can receive. tapping into the silence of our souls. Putting your awareness on your beautiful beating heart. And as you become aware of your beating heart, with each breath, allow the peace within you, like the pebble in the pond, just to move out, surrounding all the tissues of your body. Allow the peace of that, the rhythm of your heart, connecting us to the rhythm of the universe. Allow that peace to reverberate even further out now into your auric field, the unmanifested energy field around your physical form. And now allow that peace, imagine it moving out into your neighborhood, moving out further into your greater community. Allow that peace to now move out into your state, your whole state. And imagine that peace moving out further to imbue our country. Now imagine that peace moving out to North America, Canada, Mexico, Central America, South America, the Americas. Now imagine that peace moving out through the oceans, moving out further and just allowing to envelop the whole earth. Imagine now that we're just looking down at the earth. And we're enveloping the earth with the peace within us that we're creating together with our community. Again, remembering when we live from our soul, fear loses its power over us. All right, you can go ahead and release now, or you can continue to hold your 26s if you want. So now let's bring us back to 6th depth. Let's go ahead and bring our hands together in a position of prayer. We know that 6th depth is harmonized through the palm of the hand. So let's bring that together now. And go ahead and place it on one part of your main central. It could be your third eye, your forehead, over your heart. Go ahead and place it on an area of your main central that feels good to you. And we know, what does 6th depth teach us? Remember what you love. Think of something that you love right now. And then remember what loves you. Who loves you? Is there an art form that you feel particularly drawn to that loves you, that wants to be expressed through you? Are you a painter, a writer, a sculptor? Do you cook? What is it that you do that loves you and that you love? Who loves you? Think of who loves you right now. Who do you love and who loves you? And connect to them. Because we remember the essence of, and just remember the essence of love. Remember, all of life is an interconnected web, and we gather to create sanctuary, to remember our power, and to harmonize all suffering. You know, oftentimes in in a tide that just feels like it's overwhelming us with uncertainty and fear and hatred, we gather to remember our unity. We can transform really those hard lines and edges of hatred and open them to the light of the sun. That sixth step, that individual sparking of that seventh depth coming down, blessing us with that, the universal principle of light. There's this universal pulse within us that cannot be destroyed. And we remember that. We practice forgiveness and compassion. All right, so let's look at sixth depth again, the diaphragm and the umbilicus. What is the element of sixth depth? It's primordial fire. Again, that original fire that exists outside of time and space. It's original life force, again, from source energy, eighth depth source energy, that infinity, as above, so below. And in harmony, sorry, sorry, I forgot to bring my water. In harmony, there's no attitudes because, again, at the purest level of creation, only love exists. So again, that seventh depth source, densing down to sixth depth, where we are created from a source of love. But out of harmony, we can become very despairing. That's when we can have really like suicidal ideation, suicidal thoughts. We're not connected to source energy. We're not connected to the spiritual truth of ourselves that are within us and without us. And again, number 5, it's the safety energy lock that governs both sixth depth, of course, and first depth, as it's that journey of consciousness. And we are reminded that number 5 is spiritual regeneration, where we can release all fear and all limitations. And the intention, of course, of sixth depth is to return to the soul. And it's spiritual rebirth. And that's what we're doing right now. I mean, we if we study history, we can see there's always a rise and tide of all the beauty and all the ugliness of human behavior, and so this is it's another cycle we're cycling through. And in that process, we hope for spiritual rebirth as we clear all the old and the ugly and the things that want us to hate and to fight with each other and to be fearful and to point and accuse. But again, sixth depth, that's our nature of being. Now know myself. It's the breath of life. And it's the senses, again, it's the intuition. It's above the 5 other senses, other senses. Moon, again, unconsciousness, emotion, instincts, habits, moods, creativity. It's that feminine principle. Again, it's the feminine principle, and yet it's primordial fire, which is that masculine principle. So again, we can see here that beautiful cosmic dance between that divine masculine and divine feminine principle coming together to remind us to return to the soul, coming together to remind us that, again, this is where we dream our being into existence. So let's dream something new. And we can dream something new when we allow our minds to stay to the present moment, not get lost in fear. And we imagine harmony. We imagine love. We imagine, pictures of, the child holding the hands of a stranger. A mother picking up a child that has fallen and is crying. A grandfather going, sledding down a hill on his farmland with his grandchildren. We remember these things. We dream a new dream into existence by holding on to the truth of that individual sparking of sixth depth. Again, so is there a question, or was that an
Someone
answer?
raised their hand. Was that a mistake? Because we'll leave the questions to the end unless you want to take it, Susie.
Well, let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and take one, and then we'll go ahead and take him at the end. So go ahead.
Yolanda?
Oh, I was just trying to add a heart to whatever you were saying because it was so profound.
Oh, okay.
And somehow it didn't. So I thought if I raised my hand, it might actually do the reaction that I was looking for. But yeah, it's just it was perfect because there's so much of that kind of current that's going on, and certainly spoke right to it. All that mystical, magical parts of what the moon represents.
Yeah. Thank
That's
you.
it.
Yeah. Again, the moon, remember, it's a reflection of that, of seventh depth. It's a reflection of that divine universal light. And there's no dichotomy in that universal light. We're surrounded by it. So what else does Mary teach us about the main central vertical flow? Well, we know that all creation proceeds from unity. Again, so main, it's not minor, it's the main stage, central. It's not the main, it's not on the periphery. It's not outside of us. The harmony is within us, always within us. Vertical, again, that vertical line, it's heaven to earth and earth back to heaven. That vertical line represents spirit. The horizontal line represents matter. So again, main central vertical, that we're talking about spirit descending into physical form, universal, so it's not individualistic. I don't need to sit here and think like, oh no, this is how this is going to affect my family, or oh, this is how it affects my friends or my neighbors. It's like, no, I breathe, I harmonize, and we send that out. We are a community. Harmonizing, again, it's not chaotic. And its energy is malleable. It's not as dense as physical matter. So again, this is that spiritual principle of sixth step manifesting through the main central. The least manifested aspect, it's that breath essence. It's the most manifested aspect, of course, we have our spine. Again, remembering that all creation proceeds from unity. So let's just go ahead and do our first step here. Let's take our right hand on top of our head, and you can place your left hand on your pubic bone, or do whatever flow you want of the main central. You can do the anchor step if you want to. That the first step, actually, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and do the first step. The first step actually sets the intention of the flow. So let's set our intention with this first step. Our intention is to remember that all creation proceeds from unity and that we are a reflection of divine light. And if all creation proceeds from unity and we are indeed a reflection of that divine principle of universal light that we're always surrounded by, then we can create a different reality, a reality of harmony, a reality of love, a reality of gathering together. Even when they try to separate us, we say, no, I am a part of you and you are a part of me. The divine within me will always honor the divine within you. It's most important to remember this even when we're feeling angry and upset and divided and frustrated. And then the last step of the flow actually completes it completes the intention. So let's go ahead and place our left hand on top of our pubic bone and let's bring our right hand to our coccyx. We're just going to complete the intention of this flow of the main central vertical universal harmonizing energy. What a gift Mary has given us. All right. You can go ahead and keep your hands there if you'd like. So again, this is where our souls come into manifestation, talk about the intention of the flow. This is it. This is our individual expression from the all-inclusive oneness of eighth depth. Be my own individual and unique expression of the divine. Again, this is our personal source of life. So when you're feeling like, I don't feel too connected to that source of divine light, just set the intention, complete the intention with yourself. It's so simple. We have our hands are, these generators of that universal seventh depth life principle up, coming up the left hand and down the right. And we don't have to think. We just have to place our hands on our body, and the innate intelligence does everything else. That's just one of the beautiful principles of JIN SHIN JYUTSU. So we know the main central, it also is related to consciousness projects. And when we need to lift up the consciousness, because there's a lot of fear and derision in the world, give yourself a main central flow to help lift up the consciousness. It controls the entire spectrum of consciousness and the change of consciousness. Again, when we are happy and content, we are conscious and aware. However, under stress, we can become unconscious. We can be pulled away from our center. We can start to behave from a place of fear and lack and limitation, unable to really go with the flow of life because they're so anxious. And again, there's no attitudes in the main central. Again, at the purest level of creation, only love exists. So the power to heal is within ourselves. Remind us to be present and to receive the breath that is. The transformation of the breath that is, I am, here and now. So again, as JIN SHIN JYUTSU practitioners, we need to anchor ourselves, and we need to anchor our community and our families. We need to anchor the world. We have such a gift has been given to us, and not everybody, is aware of JIN SHIN JYUTSU. So safety energy lock number 24. Again, it's understanding, harmonizing chaos. It's a fifth depth safety energy lock. So it's fire, vitality, purification, transformation. And then 2 + 4, again, it equals a 6. It's at the highest level of discernment, at the spiritual level. 6 is 6 at the physical level. A 15 is a 6 at the mental level. A 24 is a 6 at the spiritual level. So again, it's balance and discernment at the highest spiritual level, number 6. And in the tarot as well, the 6 is the archetype of the lovers, love, that divine expression of that masculine, that feminine coming together to express love. We also know that 24 is the great peacemaker. So let's go ahead and hold our 26s, and then cross your foot and hold one of your 24s, and we'll go ahead and talk about 26 next. So 26, again, the spiritual meaning, that which was, is, and will be. Again, we know it's a safety energy lock of 5th depth, so it's fire, purification, again, transformation. Creator in Hebrew equals 26, so that which, again, was, is, and will be. 2 + 6, again, it equals an 8, that cosmic source of all sources. The perfect realization of the total splendor of limitless light, limitless life. This was, another way to describe, the safety energy lock number 26. And one of the intentions, of course, of the main central. So in this, we know this harmonizes chaos. You do yourself a main central, and then you hold 26 and 24, 3 times, harmonizing body, mind, and spirit. So it's so simple. We can do a little quickie on the main central, automatically go into our 26s, cross our feet, get into a 24, and we're harmonizing all chaos. We are remembering the bridge back to 8th depth source energy when we harmonize chaos. Let's go ahead and take your left foot and cross over to your right 24 now. Dropping your shoulders. as we harmonize the main central and harmonize chaos through 24-20, holding safety energy lock 24 and 26, we're also helping to obviously stimulate the endocrine system as well, the pineal and pituitary gland, those glands of consciousness and awakening. You know, the hormones are related to fourth depth, the kidney energy. So again, by doing this, we're harmonizing that expression between fourth depth water and fifth depth fire. When we're in a place of chaos, it means that, you know, that masculine principle and the feminine principle, they're not balanced. They're not in relationship with one another, harmonious relationship with one another. One is trying to dominate the other. So again, harmonizing the main central vertical flow, which also harmonizes, again, the endocrine system related to water, the most feminine element, and fire, the most masculine element. Again, we're helping to balance the expression between the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine. All right. So again, what's the universal prayer poem when we do the main central and the 24-26? Even when we do this, this is the consciousness that we're bringing within ourselves, and we're moving out from ourselves into the world. I am the divine presence in the honorific center of the universe, where through understanding all chaos is harmonized, allowing us to enter eternity and be the total splendor of limitless life power. So again, that's that beautiful flow that we just gave ourselves and we gave to the world. Diaphragm. Let's look at again, sixth depth. We know that the diaphragm and the umbilicus, they're often called our guardian angels. They're six steps, so they exist in many regards kind of outside of the physical body. So they're called our guardian angels. They're there to make sure that keep all the other relationships of the body in harmony. I kind of think of the guardian angels as like those wise grandparents that that give love and guidance and wisdom to the family to help harmonize all the, you know, fighting that might take place when, you know, with just the intensity of between, you know, that often exists between parents and children. So sixth depth touches fifth depth through the diaphragm, bringing true light into our hearts. Again, we know the diaphragm harmonizes all exhale. Let's think about wisdom and love. Wisdom protects love, and love protects the heart. So when we can walk in a place of wisdom, we help protect our heart, and we help to protect the heart of our community. And so let's go ahead and do the first step there. We'll hold your elbow and then come over, and you can cross over and hold your opposite 14. Simple breathing opens us to the universe of inner alchemy, where we gather, store, and circulate the energy of the human body. Again, we're bringing the primordial fire of sixth depth to touch first depth, the earth, which at its center contains fire. And fire supports Mother Earth. Ash becomes earth. You know, we burn things, ash is left, and ash becomes earth. So in this regard, you know, again, fire supports earth. Helps us to exhale. When we care for others, we bless the space between us. Let's go ahead and hold your other elbow and your opposite 14. Allowing wisdom and love to care for one another, to protect our heart. You know, the heart really doesn't understand hatred. It understands love. So we don't want to confuse the heart. And again, we can use the power of our jumper cables to harmonize our 6th depth moving through our body to protect the heart. All right, now umbilicus. It's the other guardian angel. Again, it helps everything to move up. Of course, we know it's a finger flow. It's an descending organ function energy flow, but it has an ascending function. Umbilicus, it brings everything up. So again, this is matter rising into spirit. You know what? While I'm talking, if you're not taking notes, why don't we go ahead and do the self-help? The left hand holds the right 11. And the left hand holds the right 19. I'm sorry, the self-help, the right hand holds the left 12. Again, this is matter rising into spirit. So sometimes when there's a lot of chaos on planet Earth, it's like, hey, we need to remember that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience, and the matter can reflect spirit, the consciousness of love, divine harmony, and light. So again, simply doing this self-help flow here, we are matter rising back into spirit, where again, we harmonize all relationships. This is like the great grandmother, harmonize all inhaling and ascending functions. Another thing I really love about the umbilicus is that, you know, it harmonizes bust line, waistline, and hip line. It keeps us connected. Sometimes when there's chaos and fear, our bust line, waistline, and hip line, our spirit, mind, and body it's disconnected. And then, you know, 2nd depth, the intention of 2nd depth is to harmonize bust line, waistline, and hip line through the breath. So the umbilicus and the diaphragm help us to exhale and inhale through bust line, waistline, and hip line, bringing us common sense. Common sense doesn't exist in hatred. You know, it's inimical, you know, like just like gratitude and hatred don't really mix together. You can't hold them at the same time. But the umbilicus and the diaphragm, they remind us to be grateful. Again, this is the umbilicus is related to it's the archetype of the earth, of the Mother Earth, that divine feminine principle. And the earth creates matter. It builds, it repairs, it maintains, it regenerates, it breaks down the old to make way for the new, rising again back to spirit. Remembering the original whisper of that divine breath when our souls took a physical form. And let's go ahead and move the right hand to the left 20. Again, reminding us that everlasting consciousness. Now this opens up the 3rd eye here. Universal consciousness. And then we can bring that right hand to the right 12, not my will, but thy will, surrendering personal consciousness towards the direction of universal mind. So again, this really gets us out of the egoic mind. You know, holding it with 11, we're harmonizing our hub. All safety energy locks move through 11, harmonizing 1 through 26. And then this is the prayer poem for the umbilicus. We experience everlasting eternity as we achieve perfect balance and embrace our natural authority. We are then able to surrender personal consciousness towards the direction of universal mind, as we are nourished and sustained between heaven and earth. Without fear, we embrace our destiny. as we quietly regenerate into our own perfection. We break down existing forms for new forms and transform effortlessly into the breath essence of the divine. So again, when we do this simple self-help, again, this is the prayer poem that we're giving ourselves and we're giving to our communities. Let's talk a little bit about indigenous cultures here. Religious and spiritual practices were often more centered around their relationship to the earth. Again, you can see these beautiful indigenous cultures, you know, they're connected to the sanctity of the earth, to the breath of you know, that earth goddess, that divine feminine energy as it's expressed in the material form. You know, and then we have modern culture, where religious and spiritual practices are often more centered around their relationship to the sky, their relationship to heaven. Sometimes we think that the divine exists outside of us. Sometimes we're encouraged to think of that as like with the head, it's outside of us, but we know that it's the heavens and it's also the earth. So as JIN SHIN JYUTSU practitioners, we are blending ancient wisdom and knowledge with contemporary times. We are, you know, light workers really coming together to make sure that we can anchor this light of JIN SHIN JYUTSU, that it not be lost, and share it with the world so we can help to, again, balance that expression of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. If we're too centered on the sky, then sometimes that divine masculine principle cannot lose its connection to the divine feminine, and it can become toxic because it's lost its connection. And so again, as JIN SHIN JYUTSU practitioners, we want to blend that expression of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Heaven to earth, earth to heaven. So again, Mother Earth really it connects us to our mystical hearts. Again, we know that fifth depth fifth depth fire supports earth. At the center of the earth is fire. So we have that passion, that Leo, that fire at the center of the earth. It keeps us, again, safe, protected. Mother Earth keeps us nourished and sustained. It gives us our stability and strength and structure. This is often related to our relationship to survival. And when there's a lot of chaos, we can be like, oh no, am I going to make it? Am I going to survive? But again, we have to remember that Mother Earth, it holds the bones of our ancestors. And, you know, we must remember that we're not alone. Our ancestors are why we're here. And they've lived through all sorts of atrocities, as well as kind of that cycle of human consciousness, you know, turns around, going from like love and harmony to fear and hate, you know, and when we're kind of in that cycle, we need to remember our ancestors, connect to the earth, connect to their memory, be grateful for them. We need to call on the strength and guidance of our ancestors, you know, to help us in times of strife and trouble. This is where also we have, you know, the beauty of what Mary gave us in the self-help. You know, we have the spleen, right? In the self-help, Mary, the organ function energies that she gives us is the spleen, the stomach, and the bladder. So we know this spleen is often referred to as the solar god, the sun god. So it's connected again to that seventh depth light. It's part of its responsibility is to take the nourishment that we receive, the liquefied grain function energy from first depth, and take that light and move it to the extremities, radiate that energy and that nourishment through all of the cells of the body. So seventh depth, again, symbolized by the sun, is the universal light from eighth depth source. Perfect, again, seventh depth, that perfect life power. You know, first spleen, first depth. I mean, this really connects the journey of consciousness from seventh depth, you know, all the way to first depth. When we give ourselves a spleen flow, again, seventh depth, this spleen attracts and distributes that spiritual light throughout the body that we receive from seventh depth source. And then we have the stomach, which we exhale down the front, and the bladder, which we also know is an organ function energy that moves down the back. And so when we give ourselves a spleen, a stomach, and a bladder flow, we're reminded that we are surrounded by seventh depth universal light down the front, down the back. We always say it's down the front and up the back, and down the front. And for the most part, in that sixth depth circulation energy, that is the movement of energy. But we know seventh depth light, we're surrounded by the light. The light, it descends down the front, it descends down the back. And when we give ourselves, this spleen, stomach, and bladder flow together, we're surrounding ourselves by that principle of universal light. Oops. All right. So let me see, how am I doing on time? I've got about 10 more minutes. Okay, well, I might move through this a little quickly, but we know that we have, we know that there's worry is the thumb, but in harmony, it's responsibility. Fear out of balance, fourth depth fear is, fear, but in balance, it's trust. And third depth anger, in balance, motivation. Second depth sadness, in balance, it's joy. And then fifth depth pretense, trying too hard. In balance, it's knowledge of self. And then, of course, we know in sixth depth, there's no attitudes. So worry, I'm just going to build it, actually, in case people want to take a photo. I think that's the last build. Okay, so worry is a lower form of responsibility. So in harmony, again, this is number 5. It's spirit in matter. And spirit in matter is the opposite of worry. When we are connected to our spirit, when we remember that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience, there's no room for worry. We feel secure. We feel safe. We are engendered with faith. And then second depth, of course, out of balance, sadness. In harmony, it's joy. Sadness, grief, and attachment. All sadness is a form of possession, as many Eastern philosophies teach. So again, in harmony, it's number 9. Number 9, second depth, that lung. We're always exhaling and inhaling. Let go, start again, be joyful, be present, be in the rhythm of that present moment and that consciousness and that light energy and that spiritual awareness within you each moment. And in that we can be joyful. Even when we're freaked out, I just remembered, like, right now it's like, I'm in a great place right now. I'm with my beautiful community, and we're coming here together to learn and to grow together. And that's, that just brings me great joy. It's wonderful to be in the rhythm and the light of, of this beautiful community that we've created together. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then third depth, of course, anger. But we know in harmony is like motivation. Sometimes we don't like what's being done. And in harmony, anger, that third depth is a lot of energy. It governs the blood essence, and the liver really is responsible for moving the blood and detoxifying the blood. And so when, that's why you need energy. When fatigue is often dirty blood, it's toxic blood. And so if our third depth is in balance and we're feeling kind of angry, but I'm going to hold my middle finger, I'm going to exhale, and I can transform that energy, and I can be motivated to create harmony. Again, so in harmony, it's governed by safety energy lock number 8. Again, that's that 8th depth source, that divine, that universal source principle. In harmony, it remembers, again, as above, so below. That, source energy is that 6th step passes that source energy, that individual spiritual energy, to third depth. Third depth receives spirit. And we're reminded, as above, so below. We are a reflection of that divine light. So there's no separation from source energy. You know, it's the bridge to higher consciousness. You know, when we become angry, that's when we're violent. Then because we're separated from source energy. Again, source doesn't understand hate because it only knows love. And so again, if we're feeling like, you know, we're not too happy with what's going on, and sometimes we just have, you know, thoughts of you know, hurtful thoughts, like, again, hold your middle finger. Reconnect to that bridge of higher consciousness. It's personal source of life power, patience, compassion, creativity. You know, this is that third depth time is, you know, it's like 2 a.m. in the morning, right? Midnight to, I guess, like 4 a.m. That's like the mad genius time when people are up and they're feeling so creative. And then, of course, we have fourth depth, fear and harmony. It's number 6. There's no fear when we are in balance of all fluids. We're trusting the flow of life. And again, remember, fourth depth is that bridge back to sixth depth, the invisible consciousness, the breath to our ancestors. This is where we can find the energy and the awareness to be courageous and to be generous in our courage. Then fifth depth, of course, it's pretense. In harmony, again, it's safety energy lock number 7, which is perfect life power. There's no need to effort. It's spiritual mastery. 7, again, safety energy lock 7. That's where the breath, the exhale and the inhale, there's that pause, and it's beautiful there. That stillness between the exhale and the inhale. And this allows us to arise into our spiritual inheritance. Again, remember, that's I mean, I suppose I should have had you guys be holding our fingers while we're talking about this. But this is where we can be our authentic expression. There's no efforting. We have acceptance of who we are. And then, of course, sixth depth, again, in harmony, there's no attitudes. Out of balance, there can be despondency, again, suicidal ideation. But again, it allows us to see on the higher dimension. Why don't we go ahead and put our palms together, connect to that sixth depth, where we connect to our intuition. And so, all right. These are some notes that actually Sarah took in June of 1986 from Mary. With gentleness, overcome anger. With generosity, overcome meanness. With truth, overcome deceit. And this is really our goal right now. This is as light workers, this is what we must be doing. We must cultivate gentleness. We must cultivate generosity. We must cultivate truth. We must cultivate forgiveness. We must cultivate compassion. Love always wins, even when we sometimes think that it's not going to win. It eventually will win. Speak the truth. Give whatever you can. Never be angry. These steps will lead you into the presence of the gods. All right, so this is a poem that I wrote. I wonder where. Well, the title should be up there. It's called The Healer. It's a poem I wrote when I was traveling through Guatemala, and I thought, you know, maybe it's appropriate for bringing, you know, some love to the moment here. A community of lullabies awake within the body. Tree branches reach towards heaven as our roots kneel down to kiss the earth. Leaves let go to caress the wind. We close our eyes to release the sweet summer. Oh, no, actually, this isn't it. This is like the middle of it. Here it is. That was the middle of the poem. I do have it memorized, and I was like, oh, this isn't the beginning. There we go. Okay. All right, you guys, I'm going to start all over again. Rain hits adobe tiled roof, breaks into humming and falls in an unbroken line towards wild anise below. I found the experienced breath within my hands, the shapes and sounds of eternity held within the open palm. I am fluent in the language of touch. May I reach to wash your heart with laughter and heal the chaos within. We become still when we receive eternity. A community of lullabies awake within the body. Tree branches reach towards heaven as our roots kneel down to kiss the earth. Leaves let go to caress the wind. We close our eyes to release the sweet summer smile of the mind. When tears fall, 1,000 wishes scatter. I exhale and listen to the push of my breath pull me into this moment. The healer is we, and we are the healer. As we brew and drink from the tea of inquiry, we surrender personal consciousness towards the direction of universal mind. And remember this, we belong to the universe, and we are strong enough for peace. So again, you guys, we are light workers. We're not the only ones. There's our JIN SHIN JYUTSU community. There's all the beautiful healers of, Qigong healers and traditional Chinese medicine healers and yoga and teachers and musicians and poets. And, we must hold our most radiant light and beauty, and really our presence, we need to invite others to hold their most radiant light and their most radiant beauty. We can become several stars, really radiating the power of a beautiful constellation. We know the difference between a star, and we know the difference between a constellation. We come together in harmony, in cosmic universal awareness with love, and we can create a beautiful, beautiful constellation that allows others to just witness and bathe within that light, even if they're not aware of it themselves. Just the mere presence of that light will start to shift consciousness. Anyway, so during times of social unrest, remember we are light workers, as I said earlier, amongst many. We hold our most radiant light and beauty to invite others to also do so. And again, several individual stars come together to form a powerful constellation. I mean, look at that beautiful baby, cradled in the earth of the mother, connected to the tree. That tree serves as a symbol between, heaven and earth. Despite setbacks, we must never stop dreaming our existence into being, as we must forge a new paradigm and path surrounded by the light of the divine. So again, getting into our sixth step, connection and relationship, dreaming a new dream into existence. Okay. Oh yeah, and this is a nice little quote. Take care of yourself, and remember that taking care of something else is an important part of taking care of yourself, because you are interwoven with the 10 trillion things in this single garment of destiny that has been stained and torn, but is still being woven and mended and washed. All right, you guys, great. Thank you so much. I know I think pushed us maybe past our time a little bit. Oh, it's 12:01. Great. I'm so excited. I kind of, I guess finished on time. So I know it doesn't leave us much time for questions, but are there any questions? Oops.
Yeah, raise your hand if you have a question for Susie.
Or, comments, feedback, if anybody wants to share any inspirations or, quotes or poems or whatever, we can.
Monica, were you about to? No? Okay.
Well, why don't we go into gallery and we could just see everybody?
Well,
Nobody has their, oh, come on, y'all.
I changed my mind.
Oh, okay,
Huh?
Monica.
I changed my mind.
Okay.
Thank you, Susie. It's great to be with you, and it's a
It's good
wonderful
to.
class.
Oh, hey, Newt.
Hey,
Yeah,
you remember me?
Newt. Yes. Oh, yeah. You gave me that beautiful tree.
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, I'd like, yeah, New Jersey, Morristown.
Correct, correct.
Yeah, it's good to see you
Yeah.
again.
Good to see you too.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Well, we could mention that Susie's got an upcoming
that's right.
class,
Yeah.
March the 12th to the 16th, which I just so happen to be organizing. But anyway, if you go to
It's a basic online class.
yeah, so if you go to JSJSMB, which I thought I had, but I don't appear to, somehow it disappeared. I think I have the link in the chat room. Have a look. Yes, there's a link for Susie's online class. Can you see that in the chat room? You can't?
It says the chat room is turned off by the host.
Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go.
Turn on that chat, Terry.
Can you see it now?
Um,
Can you see it now?
No, the chat is on, but the link is not in there, Terry.
It is. It's right down the bottom.
I don't see it.
Link for Susie's online class. Can you see that?
No.
I don't see it either,
I don't
Terry.
see it either. Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. Huh. I wonder if I do this. Oh, now can you see it? Oh, Enrique saw it. There you go.
Oh, Enrique. Oh, there we go.
There
Yes.
you go.
Yeah.
So if you want to make a quick note of that link up there, folks, https://. It's a reduced, shortened URL, tinyurl.com/59ddk6et, or just go to JSJSMB, go to that website and look under classes and look under the basic seminar with Susie.
Susie, can you clarify just one thing, if possible, when we were
Yeah.
talking about the main central?
Yes.
You talked about the hormones in fourth depth. If the hormones are not in alignment, or if the hormones are off balance, are there certain flows to do for that?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I mean, obviously, any flow that helps the main central, right? So main central, third method correction, and then the fourth depth flows, the kidney, again, the fourth depth kidney bladder, we have also the bladder, several channels, like moving down the back as well. We know that the kidney also comes up through the inside, the medial aspect of the leg, but then it comes up and comes down the sternum, but also just smacked my hand there a little bit, but also it comes down the spine as well. So that kidney energy, there's an affinity towards the hormones, kind of like, related to the water element, and also that ancestral energy, and the DNA as well, coming through that fourth depth. So that fourth depth principle is really there at the beginning of life and at the end of life. It helps to govern kidney energy, the principle of creation, and yet it's also the bridge that helps just return back to, source energy or land of your ancestors, or whatever your spiritual, religious beliefs may be. So reverse and increasing fourth kidney, bladder, 23-25 flow. I really like that one as well. That's also great for harmonizing. The third depth at the same time that you're harmonizing the relationship between fourth depth and fifth depth. Second method is great. I don't know, Terry, can you think of anything that I haven't said already? Anything that's really, okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Nancy?
Susie, as usual, that was incredibly inspiring, and just a whole lot of great information that we all need right now. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, you're welcome.
Your class, your 5-day last year was wonderful and terrific, and I invite anybody to take the one that's coming up this year, because it was super, and I can't say enough great things about it.
Oh, thank you so much, Nancy. I appreciate that. That's very, very sweet.
And don't forget, folks, you get 3 months of a replay for the online classes. So, you know,
Yeah,
there's-
which helps. I mean, we all know as JIN SHIN JYUTSU students that it's such a large and copious amount of information, and it can be overwhelming. And you know, the one aspect that's nice about the online is that you do get access for the information for 3 additional months. I mean, unfortunately, we don't have the practice of the hands-on, so we do a lot of self-care in the 5-day. I do a lot of self-care in the online class as well. And then of course we have some demonstrations on Manny the mannequin that I have. So
Yeah,
anyway.
if you have a friend or a partner who will hang around with you and watch, particularly when it's the practical part, you could practice on
Yeah,
it.
you could practice. I mean,
Yeah, you could bring them
maybe,
in.
yeah, maybe Terry will try to think of, I mean, sometimes maybe we'll think of a time at each day that we know that there will be that mannequin practice, so people can, if they want to practice on somebody, they can let somebody know.
There's an idea.
Anyway, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey guys, remember JIN SHIN JYUTSU, the art of the creator through the person of knowing and compassion. So be the person of knowing, be the person of compassion, care for one another, bless the space between us, and just sending lots of love and light to everybody. Again, thank you so much for being here. I need to go pick up my mother-in-law from the airport, so it's really so lovely to see all your beautiful faces, and I look forward to seeing you guys, you know, soon at another Harmonize to Energize, or for some other class or webinar that I'm teaching, or the basics. So again, thank you so much, everyone.
Okay, Susie, you're going to disappear. Thank you. We'll be in touch.
Okay.
I just want to say a few more things to the group generally. I didn't know until a couple of days back that Susie was going to do this topic. Originally, there was another topic, so I hope she's going to teach that one day as well, but I'm glad she did. And for those of you teach this topic, and for those of you that are not aware, myself and Jane Francis from the Unity Church have been doing a Sunday meditation for about an hour, which includes aspects of JIN SHIN JYUTSU, and it's called the Feel Meditation, Peace, Harmony, Integrity, and Love. And you're all welcome to join if you wish. It's on Zoom. It's usually going to be the 2nd and 4th Sunday of the month. And you can hit me a note on my, there it is.
Well, Terry, could you put, oh, perfect. Or do you have a link for that, Terry, as well, or just email?
It changes every week because of the Zoom link.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But
So
yeah, I don't put it on the website at the moment.
Terry,
So
that's great. What time is that at, Terry, on the 2nd?
well, it's 4 o'clock Arizona time, so you just have to look on your world clock if you're from Europe. But for you, Susie, soon enough it'll be the same, 4 o'clock.
That's true when we do that. Yeah, I know.
But Susie, you'd be welcome to come on. I've encouraged other, practitioners, teachers to come on from different modalities to lead us, people from the Unity Church, people
Lovely.
from Heart Math.
Oh, perfect.
Come on. Yeah, Heart Math. I'm hoping to get a lady from Heart Math. Really what Susie said today is totally where we're coming from in this meditation. As those of you that have been joining, we do start with 6 depth grounding, and then we do a calligraphy meditation. And some of you are aware that I explained the understanding of the JIN SHIN JYUTSU kanji. We use some other calligraphies to bring in the essence of the energy of the calligraphy. And those of you that ever met Sadaki Kato, who was the son of another, or the only other major student of Jiro Murai, he introduced calligraphy. It's a Japanese and Chinese art, and Sadaki introduced it, but he didn't get time to go any deeper. But we'll give you that opportunity if it appeals to you. So just hit me a line at that email, and I'll send you the Zoom link. I've got one coming up this Sunday, and then the next one will be the 4th Sunday. Okay.
Thank you so much again, Terry. You're so inspiring. Like, thank you so much, Terry.
It's
Every-
mutual.
Everything that you do. And okay, great. I'm glad that I stayed around. I wanted to listen to that. I didn't know that, Terry. I think that's wonderful. And again,
Yeah.
thank you all so much. You guys are you're so beautiful. Just keep those beautiful hearts strong and pure and just pulsing, and I'll see everyone soon, hopefully. Bye-bye. Thank you.